Hello and welcome to this quick video. I was working on a project on Power BI and I came across one issue I had. So in this file, let's cut this screen real quick. We imported from multiple files, right? A bunch of informations. And aggregating them all together, we ended up having this table. But my issue was that because of the structure and the way files would come in, this date modified field wouldn't always be named in the same way. And let me show this place to you a little bit better, like so. Okay. And see, the fact that I wouldn't know how this column would be named was a big issue for me, and I needed to find a way to rename that column to make it consistent so I could append it to something else. So, what are we going to do here? Well, let's just do what we usually do, right? When we want to change something, we just double click on it and just basically say like it's going to be my reference date, for example. And if I press enter, the M code is generated, and now we can check it out. This M code is just the basic formula that is going to be table.rename columns, the reference of the table at that point, so the previous operation, change type 1, and then we're going to modify the name by putting between curly brackets the date modified, which is the old title, and the new title. Okay, so how do I want to change this so that I don't need to know the previous name or the current name of my column? Well, I can reference it by index. And so I'm just going to edit this one formula to fit what I need. So how does that work? Well, let's center on this a little bit better, and we're going to update what's going on in here. So this formula, like we said, is just like the action that we're going to do behind there, the reference of the step we're at, and the state of the table at that point, and then the action. So what we're going to do is modify how we reference the column here. Okay, everything else is fair, okay, but this we don't want. So we're going to remove it, and we're going to write another formula, which is still a table function, which is going to be dot column names. And you see we're suggesting it to me. Still, if you want to reference a table function, you need to open brackets and put the previous step in it. So we're going to copy and paste it. And we say that the table.column names that is referenced under change type 1, so the current state of my table on the previous step, is going to be what we select. And here, since we're affecting the column names, what we're going to do is that we're going to be able to reference it in a very easy way, is that this object, so here, this whole thing is the object table.column names, so all the column names I have, okay, in a list or in a group of data, and we're going to pick one in there. And the way to do this is to add an index value and to reference it under curly brackets, because you've seen that here you are going to use normal brackets to wrap up everything that's inside your function, and then use curly brackets to reference like parameters, special informations, like here. Okay, so we're going to do it again in here, and in these curly brackets I'm going to put the number of the index of the column. So here my reference date, okay, if I go back to my DAX view just before, sorry it bugged, here this is date modified, and it's the first column of my table. Because of everything I did earlier, I know it's always going to be the first, and I could even go before that and make sure that it's the first. Wait, so let's move it, maybe make it second, okay, just to be sure that this works. And I'm going to go back to my formula and zoom on it. Here, what I want to do now is be sure that my column, which is the second column on in my index, is going to be the one I reference. But you've got to remember that an index of a list in programming languages starts at 0. So if we start at 0, we have the first column. So here I moved it to the second place, so it's gonna be 1. Easy as that. So now what I'm saying is the first column, the index 1, sorry, so second column of my table is gonna be what I select in this parameter, and it's gonna be called reference date. So now let's check if it's working, and it's all okay. So now we changed everything based on the index of our column right here. So this is it. This was for me a good example of how M code works a little bit, so you get a hang of it a little. And for something that might come across for a lot of you people. So here we are. I'll see you soon. Bye.